Good morning, Thunder fans, and welcome back to Morning Thunder. I'm your host, Bobby Howard. With me today, we've got Jameson Maxwell. We are returning from yet another stretch of time where we have sort of been focused on college football and our other show, the Schooner Pod, but the regular season has come to an end. It's time to lock in on basketball, Jameson, and lo and behold, last time we podcasted was fresh after the Thunder's first loss. And as we're recording this on December 7th, they haven't lost again. Now, knock on wood, they're playing the Jazz, but I think we're pretty optimistic overall about that. Anyways, the Thunder off to an insanely good start, 22-1. What are your thoughts on this stretch and just how incredible the Thunder have been?
We're just doing it again, Bobby. It's turning into the same kind of thing as last year. They're saying Thunder amazing. They're one of the best teams ever. But then you look at the micro and it's like, but we haven't had our starting lineup together for one single play this year. We did this last year and then we go on and win a chip. And now it's looking like, could we get 70 wins with this same formula as last year? I hope that we can get Ihart back from his calf injury and we don't have to talk about this for too much longer. But it just shows how special this team is from the top down. You don't need everybody to succeed.
Yeah, it's the definition of a next man up mentality. And you can have situations where Shea sits a game with the elbow, I can't pronounce the
Tendonitis.
bursitis.
The tendonitis. They called it bursitis, but it's tendonitis. Some people in the medical community really hate the word bursitis. So maybe that was just me coming out saying it's tendonitis. A little fluid-filled sac right at the elbow is angry right now at Shea.
There you go. So he has a slight elbow injury, nothing to be serious about, of course. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what's so special about this team. And, I don't want to dive into, can they beat the Warriors? Can they break the record? Because I don't think, one, that they care about it, because they just care about doing what they do every day, which is try to win, win what's ahead of you and just keep going. And two, I will say they have the right mentality to do that, because I feel like when you think about making those sort of runs, it's like, oh, are they going to burn themselves out? And I don't think this is the type of team to do that, mainly because they're so damn deep.
I'll challenge you, Bobby. I think we've been putting this mantra out there that Mark, from the top down says, oh, we don't care about that stuff. And they listen to Mark. Yes, they do. They're very, very good at listening to Mark and buying in. I guarantee you, guys like Jay Will and J Dub care. They care about those things. They pay attention. That I think that winning 70 will mean to them on the inside, but on the outside, maybe they won't say that. But when it comes down to it, there's been Thunder teams in the past where maybe those externals worried us in terms of their motivation. Like, the Carmelo, Anthony, Paul George, Russell Westbrook team, where it's like, are they really playing for the right reasons? Did they really have that showing out on that random Sunday, 2:30 game that they just drop whenever they shouldn't? And like, there's an effort problem. You'll never, ever have that problem from the Thunder. And so I don't really care if they're gunning for the 70 wins or if they're not, because I just believe in the work ethic of this team.
Yeah, the effort will never be over what it needs to be in terms of like overextending yourself, or, it's always going to be 100. They always go all out, but it's not going to be like, well, I probably shouldn't play right now, but I really want to get the 70 wins. Let's lock in. We have to get this done. And I think that's the difference between, some, really going for it and just doing your job and ending up with it. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But sure, they sure look like they're not anywhere close to slowing down by any
They're
means.
going to still rest their guys at the end of the season, even if it's getting close to 70 or not. But that doesn't make me feel any more or less concerned that they can still do it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, is that the rest of the guys could step in and perform great. We've seen it all season long. We've seen it in this run, where you have guys step up with no J-Dub, no Chet.
Got like
in this
6
case,
people
no
on the
Shea.
injury report right now.
Yeah, you play legitimate, Brendan Carlson minutes and, win by 30. It's crazy. It's
broken nose Brendan Carlson out here trying to serve.
Yep, just to serve with the mask. But it's just a special team. It's been an incredible watch, and, just soak up the history. I mean, they're a couple games away from tying the Warriors 24-1 start.
Yeah.
A couple more after that, and you sort of get into the, surpassing the pace, that sort of thing. I can't remember when when the Warriors took their second loss. I think it was 29-2 is when they got theirs. But regardless, enough about that history. There's plenty to talk about as it goes on. The real thing we're here for that everyone should be hyped about, Jameson, is the NBA Cup knockout rounds begin this week, Wednesday against the Phoenix Suns in Oklahoma City. And first of all, just to let everyone know why this happened, in case you didn't know, Suns, they've been off to a good start. I will say, I feel like they've been one of the surprise teams. Everyone was ready to kind of bury them, but they've showed out strong. They were great in the cup. Their point differential is why they're here, because anyone who watched that cup game in the group stage knows that's a gritty, hard team to play against. What are your thoughts on the Suns? Obviously, Devin Booker's a maybe for this one, but
yeah, he's probably not going to play.
Yeah, his reevaluation date is Wednesday, so.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. He's soft tissue. So, I mean, that's just always concerning. But, I mean, to shout out to the Suns for kind of like rebranding their culture and getting together, because maybe it was getting some toxic personalities out of the room and just getting back to the roots. And I hate to say it, but like guys like Colin Gillespie, like you look at him and Dylan Brooks is playing really good basketball and you're like, wow, that's it, and like that's whenever you looked at the roster of this team the preseason, those were not the guys that were on the top 8 of my guys that would be the reason that the Phoenix Suns would have a winning record 20 games or 20 plus games into the season. So, I mean, you got to give them their flowers, and they're a tough team. And even if Devin Booker doesn't play in this game, I think that they'll play hard, and it's still going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, without a doubt. They have that kind of junkyard dog mentality that Brooks brings to all of his teams. And, I know personally as a fan of teams that have not had Dylan Brooks on it, he annoys the hell out of me, frustrates me, but you can't deny that the guy brings a toughness to a team.
Yeah, it's a kind of guy that whenever you do have him and he's in his good moments, you love that you have him and you hate that you're going against him. He's not the epitome of like you always love him if you have him. There's players like that out in the league. He's not one of them because he can go bad real quick. But I mean, the kind of the get under your skin and work harder than the guy next to you for a team that's kind of like a middle of the road to lower the road talent in the NBA is what you need to scrap out wins.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a plus. That's a plus for sure. So overall in this, I don't want to go too, this isn't an in-depth preview of Thunder Suns. Let's be honest about that. We don't
Tell
need
me
to
your
do
thoughts
that.
on Oso Ighodaro and how he can win the Suns the matchup, Bobby.
No comment on Oso Ighodaro.
Okay,
Do
I'll
you
give
have
you an
thoughts on
easier
Oso
one.
Ighodaro?
I'll make it easier for you. What about Jamari Bouye?
Man, I'm sorry. I
What's
have not
that
been
TNT segment where it's like who
he play for?
Who does he play? Who he play for? If I showed you a picture of
man.
Jamari Bouye right now, you'd have no idea who the hell that was because neither would I. He's wearing a Milwaukee Bucks jersey in his picture right now. He's a second-year guy out of San Fran. In their last game versus Houston, he played 18 minutes and had 18 points. So I don't know. Should we talk about him?
Maybe we should be talking about our guy Jamari Bouye. Go.
Bobby, we're going to be watching this cup game, and Bouye is going to come in, and he's going to drill a 3, and then we're going to text each other like, oh, God, what did we do?
Bouye, oh, no, here it goes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen with this. So less about the Suns itself, but more the NBA Cup in general. And maybe I probably should have led with this before diving into the Suns. What is your take on the Cup?
Did it right.
How do you like it so far? Are you pro Cup? Are you anti Cup? What do you think on it?
I'm pro Cup because I think the players are pro Cup. That's all that matters. As long as they have buy-in and you have competitive basketball, that's exactly what a fan wants. And, we didn't want this to turn into some like kind of all-star game feel where it's like maybe they're trying, maybe they're not, and we kind of question it. But the players are like, they know that this matters towards their playoff standings at the end of the year. And I think $500,000 means a lot. I mean, like, I don't care how rich you are. And I don't want to get into all of this, the ethics of this and all this stuff, but it's like 500,000 is 500,000. It doesn't matter if you're a multimillionaire or not. That still carries a lot of weight. And I think these are kids. The majority of these people playing for this are kids. And that is like really, really fun to go out there for a cash prize like you're playing on the street. So, yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of energy, especially from a team like the Thunder with a lot of young people. And we already know that the way they talked about it last year and the way that Jay Will really, really wanted the money and didn't get it, like that we're going to see the same thing this year. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard stories about how the Thunder reacted to it. Like, I believe Dylan Jones was like almost inconsolable on the plane. Like, he was like just heartbroken. Shea is
Imagine,
like, man,
imagine,
we gotta move on.
imagine if you lost DraftKings or whatever sports book. No, no free ads.
No
But
free
maybe
ads. No.
gave you a bonus bet on the NBA Cup Finals, Bobby. Just your average Joe. Here's a $500,000 bonus bet, and you can pick the winner. And you lost it? Yeah, I would be pretty pissed because that's essentially what that losing that championship game feels like.
Yeah, I mean, any amount of money is fun. You know, even if it was like, even if you're like $50, if you win, you get $50. If you lose, you get 10. I'd be like, oh, I wanted the 50. What the hell? This sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think it's good to inspire, better play. I know that I think some fans of any sport just hate change because it's change, because it's different. I hope that people start to soften up on it a little bit as it goes on. I like that the semifinals in the future are going to be on, not in Vegas, on home courts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that helps a little bit, with the accessibility of being able to possibly get to the game. But it just takes some time to adjust to the standings, all of that, the way it plays out over a full month. But overall, I think it's fun. I think it's harmless. Does it ultimately matter a ton? I mean, if you win it, I don't know. You'd have to ask a Milwaukee Bucks or Laker fan what they think of their cup runs. Zach Lowe last summer kind of put it perfectly. He's like, how many people are thinking about the Bucks NBA Cup right now? He's like, nobody. We totally
Yeah.
forgot about it. But
it's fun in the moment, and it doesn't have to be this long-lasting, crystallized like feeling that we have for years upon years if we win the cup. But in the moment, it's fun to go to a cup game and see the cup floor and be like, oh, it just feels a little bit different. And then it's fun to see if your team wins a game in Vegas for $500,000 a piece. That's fun in the moment. It doesn't have to be a thing where I'm sitting there in my rocker and I'm telling my kids about the 2025 NBA champions Oklahoma City Thunder, as well as their win in the NBA Cup. Like, I don't have to do that.
right now, it would be fun to win both. In soccer, it's called winning the double. If you can win, one trophy, your cup or whatever during the season, and then win the another thing. So that would be fun to be like, we're the first ones to win both of them. But it more than anything is just kind of a fun distraction for these early season doldrums, where it just kind of takes a little bit of time to get the ball rolling. 82 games is a long, long season, so it's fun to have these little distractions to have something to lock in on, and the basketball just flat out is better. So I think
Yeah, and I think
it's
last
good.
year, like, even the games that weren't in Vegas, I think that Oklahoma City Dallas game at home was an absolute
Yeah.
high stakes thing, not just for moving on in the cup, but of overall opinion of like the Luka Shea thing that we've been dealing with for way too long at that point. So I mean, these
Yeah.
games matter, and if it truly is Oklahoma City and Lakers in Vegas with a heavy Lakers crowd, we've already seen what the Lakers fans do on Twitter and what they say about us and what we say about them. That game will matter about public perception and obviously the basketball itself.
Absolutely. And it's no secret that if the Lakers, win and advance, that entire arena is going to be just packed full of Laker fans. And I feel like the Laker fans that go to the Vegas games, whether it's Summer League or the NBA Cup, it's like a different breed of Laker fan, where you get like the real diehards that aren't priced out at Staples. Like you get the legit Laker fans who are willing to travel all the way to Vegas. Like it's a different level of Laker fan. It's not the ones that are sitting on their hands the whole time and not clapping and showed up in the third quarter with a plate of sushi. That's not the Laker fan you're getting in Vegas. These are hardcore, diehard fans of the Lakers, and I feel like
They
that
got sushi
environment
at
would be
Crypto?
awesome. They got sushi at Crypto. That's a real story, by the way. That happened to me. It was the first Thunder playoff game in LA. Nobody was behind us for the entire game. Then some guy shows up with a plate of sushi. Just like, okay, wow, what did you miss, man? Just half of a NBA playoff game.
We'll say sushi may be way, way overpriced at a stadium, but I would say it's not that bad as stadium food, just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean it's something you kind of eat. I don't know if that works, because you have to dip if you're dipping in the like, not
You
really
don't
the
have to
wasabi, but
dip.
like the soy. You don't have to dip. You have to be a non-dipper.
Which is
And
totally
it,
fine. I think a good roll, a good specialty roll could have plenty of eel sauce or whatever on it. Obviously, we don't need to get too far into this, but I think you could dome some sushi pretty quickly. It's all about
definitely.
high yield, and I think it's a high yield meal. It's better than eating a Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah, no, because that can get messy. I don't think sushi would get as messy if you're really commit to it. It also, you do have to worry about the freshness aspect of it. Like, has this been sitting out since the Los Angeles Kings game 2 days ago? Like, something like that. That might be a little bit of a concern. But overall, I don't hate the prospect as much as it sounds on the surface. But anyways, the
Basketball,
Lakers,
basketball.
basketball, hoops, Lakers, Spurs. Any chance the Lakers don't advance out of this one?
I mean, without Wemby, you wouldn't think so, but the line right now at is Lakers only 3.5, Bobby. So I mean, like anything really is possible from it. And I mean, the Lakers I think are having a really good season, but whatever it comes down to it, like they're not the most blowing you away team. Like as we speak right now, they're losing to Philly, and then they did not look good on prime night versus Boston. That was just kind of a very ugly game. And I get it. That was not a non-Luka game. But still, you would expect like a team that's 16-6 to kind of look a little bit better versus a Boston team. I'm not overly excited about whenever their starting lineup has Jordan Walsh in it, So I mean, I think what it comes down to, maybe I'm a little bit clouded in my opinions of other teams because you can't use Thunder as your base. They're just in another tier. Just throw that in the trash. And I think that's what makes it really hard for me to evaluate teams right now, is because the team that I pay attention to the most is almost like my baseline to compare them to.
Yeah, which can be a bit, like you said, unfair because the Thunder are just unreal. It's a different level. And I think, they're when you talk about like the guys who get up for the cup, the young, scrappy, you look at, a lot of these Spurs, like I bet Julian Champagny wants, $500,000. I bet Devin Vassal's gonna scrap for this, like you got a lot of young guys. Libby Waters, hell yeah, he wants $500,000.
Dude,
And I think that's some
Vassell's
part
got a
to it.
bag, man. Maybe not him, but I
Fair.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair,
what I
but
did,
they're
I just said a
young.
whole thing earlier saying that everyone wants the bag. I think everyone wants the
Yeah,
freaking bag. Everyone's gonna get up for
right.
it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Shea wants the
I'm not
bag.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm not yeah. But what I'm ultimately saying is I feel like this young team, like in a one game single elimination scenario, could be dangerous, which is kind of part of the fun too once you get to the knockout aspect. Like it's win or go home, or win or don't go to Vegas. And I think that adds a lot of intrigue. I don't want to say I'm like, oh, the Spurs are going to knock them off or anything, but that's a team I wouldn't want to face, to say the least. But
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
Spurs have been a really feisty team right now, and I think, like I said, even without Wemby, I think they've been showing some really fun pieces, and I think De'Aaron Fox has silenced a lot of the haters in terms of what he can be. I think he's having a great part of this season. Whenever you look at their depth, I think they've got a lot of good pieces, and you'd hope that Dylan Harper is the kind of guy that could have a big game on a national stage here and be like, oh, he did just come back from injury not too long ago, but now more people can kind of rave about him if he did it against the Lakers.
That's true. That is true. And I will say with the Lakers, both for the Spurs and potential Thunder games, you can kind of put on your little tinfoil hat here. You know, if you're one of those people who believe the league is rigged, I'm just saying the league would want the Lakers to be in the final. They want them in Vegas for the semis, and they definitely want them in the final because that'll get eyeballs. That'll if you want to support the cup, if you want that, like just stick the Lakers in there. So, am I saying the Lakers are going to get like the benefit of the call with the whistle? I mean, I'm not saying anything for
They
sure.
always do.
They
Check the
always do.
stats. They do it every single game. It's going to be even more prominent in Vegas.
Yeah, it's going to be. I have a feeling if it's a Thunder Shea or like Thunder and Shea versus Luca and like the Lakers, it's going to be that is going to be an abysmal watch somehow. Like the league will somehow like muck it up, but hopefully not, because I feel like that would be very fun for all of that on the line. But I'm just saying we're watchdogs out here, NBA. We're watching you. If y'all try to mess up this NBA Cup, this cup has sanctity. Damn it. You know, just let the chips fall where they may, suppose. But anyways, I'm excited to see how that shakes out. But of course, as with everything in the NBA, there is an entire other conference that we have to somewhat talk about, the East.
Ugh.
We don't need to talk about it too much, but of the four final teams, the Magic and Heat who play, and then the Toronto Raptors and New York Knicks. Any thoughts on either of those teams as competitors on the East side of the bracket to possibly take the cup?
Yeah, I like the way the Magic was looking here as of recently, but Franz Wagner went down with an injury, and I don't think there's anything out yet. I haven't had a chance to really look at it either, so I don't know if I can add too much analysis to that. But I think that's just something to keep an eye on now, especially with Paulo coming back. But I think if you look at like who's the best team in the East in terms of skill and talent, and a team that you would want to see as a Thunder, just as sheer competitor, I mean, I would want to play the Knicks. I think the Knicks are a really fun basketball team that we've really had a lot of good success with in the past. At the same time, like, I wanna go against the best of the best, and I think New York's the most talented team in the East.
And it feels like it could properly be like, given where the Celtics are, where the Pacers have been, and just where the East is in general. If you had to pick a team that's going to make it out of the East to go to the finals, it's the Knicks. And obviously that conference is wide open, and the Knicks notoriously find a way to choke every single time they get close to the finals. That's a team you're cutting your teeth against in the East, I think. So I'm very intrigued. I would be very intrigued to see that as well. Obviously, you would have some interesting storylines with the Magic, with Banchero versus two other guys in his draft class. Super young, fun team. The Raptors have been a nice little surprise, but I think that's just kind of I don't know if I buy into them long term, but overall, I mean, I'm with you. I want to see the Knicks, and I think we probably will end up seeing the Knicks.
And the reality of it is, Bobby, something that I think would be really cool is seeing a matchup in the NBA Cup Finals that you could see being a matchup in the NBA Finals. And maybe looking at it last year, you said maybe it could be Milwaukee versus OKC, but most people said no way it's going to be Milwaukee. Boston's gonna do it, maybe New York, but they didn't. I don't. Not many people felt confident in that. If you see New York versus Oklahoma City, you're saying, "Oh, that'll be a really fun discussion point, playoff time of like, can we get a rematch?"
Right. And it's high stakes, high level basketball where you're like, this is going to be the closest thing we're going to have potentially to the NBA finals in a long time. So, or until, you actually get to June and all that. It's a real chance for these elite teams to kind of cut their teeth in high pressure, intense situations. So I'm with you. I want to see it. I'm sure the league wants to see the Knicks in the finals. We'll see how it all shakes out. But overall, very, very excited. Is that your prediction though? Thunder Knicks in the final?
Yes, I'll do Thunder Knicks. I think that's the odds-on favorite most likely, but I won't get too freaky with it. Let's go Thunder Knicks.
Yeah, I'll go Thunder Knicks as well. Just keep it shock. I don't know. I know that sounds a little boring here, but I don't know. I just think the Knicks are. I think the Knicks
It could be like
are the favorite here.
Thunder Heat. It's the next most likely, and it's going to be gross, but whatever.
Lord, yeah, that would be 2012 NBA Finals rematch right there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Sell me more.
I'm just trying to do my best. Toronto versus OKC. Shea versus his home country's team. There you go. I guess.
Well, if he keeps on playing Toronto, Bobby, he might get poached.
I feel like that ship has sailed a little bit, at least for the time being.
Do you see Drake was sitting courtside?
My God, Drew. Yeah, God, that we don't need that. We don't need that. Yeah, we'll see. But I think it'll be an interesting NBA Cup run. I'm certainly excited to see how it all shakes out. Probably going to do a little recap on Wednesday after the Thunder's Cup game. So I'm going to try my best to bring back the post game reactions for the rest of the Cup run. But we'll see how that goes. Any final thoughts on the Thunder, the Cup, anything before we wrap this one up, Jameson?
No, this is just a really fun team, and I understand a lot of people are kind of stuck in the college football right now, but are still paying attention to the Thunder. Just kind of appreciate what you got right now. This is super, super fun, and live in the moment. It's honestly, there's no better scenario out there, I think, probably in the history of the league than to be a Thunder fan right now. And that is a bold statement. But having a young, fun team that people like cheering for, that has the possibility of a dynasty with fun draft picks, like there's no negatives of being a fun fan right now of the Thunder.
Yeah, like zero drama. contracts set up pretty well. You got the picks in the future. You can make fun of the Clippers, who are just spiraling, and that has just been
Sad
so fun to
Clipper
watch.
meme. Put in sad Clipper mascot meme.
The sad Clipper, the artist who draws the sad pictures of Chuck the Condor after every loss, and they just get progressively worse as it goes. It's so good. It's so good. But all right. Well, for me and Jameson, this has been another episode of Morning Thunder. We'll be back soon enough to talk more Thunder basketball. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Thunder up, everybody.